Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the ABA Coffee in the Park. My name is Cam Milliken, and I am here with my co-host extraordinaire, Jennifer Herrick, the Executive Director of the Atchison Business Association. Good morning, Jennifer.
Well, good morning, Cam, on this beautiful sunny
Man,
day.
is it nice out there today? It's like almost summer, but not quite.
You know, you sound a little better today.
Yeah, yesterday was a bad allergy day.
I want our listeners to know.
It wasn't
I didn't
a
know
good
if
day.
Cam was going to make it yesterday.
Oh, my goodness. Eyes, nose, throat. It was not a good day yesterday, but medication is a wonderful thing.
You sound much better
And I went
today.
to bed, Jennifer, at like 9. I was going to go to bed at 8:30. Good thing there was no hockey game. I was going to go to bed at 8:30. Ended up going to bed at 9 and slept in this morning till about 7:30. So that was, or no, till about 6:30.
Yeah,
so that
sometimes
was
you
pretty
just need
good.
those
I know,
days.
that's what I needed. And I feel better today. So I don't think it's over yet. The trees are going to bud and all that kind of stuff. But hey, thanks everybody for joining us today. We are coming to you live from the Wall Coffee Roasters in the heart of beautiful downtown Atchison. So if you hear some coffee machines whirring in the background, people talking, kids screaming, no kids in here today? Oh yeah, right there. Look at that one. Anyway, don't worry about it. We're live at the coffee shop and we love being here. And if you've never been to the Wall Coffee Roasters, you need to come. So if you're listening to us in other parts of the world, when you fly to Canada, make this a destination point.
In beautiful downtown
That's right, in
Atchison.
beautiful downtown.
Yes.
We've had people actually come here looking for beautiful downtown Atchison.
We have.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, folks. The sign has
There,
not been
yeah, it
put
hasn't
up
been
yet.
put up yet. No. Yeah, and you won't see condos or anything like that yet. Maybe one day we'll develop it a little bit. But hey, Jennifer, tell us about some very important people.
We would like to thank our gold corporate sponsors, which include the MyShack Group of Companies, Genix, Parkland County, and Bow Valley Credit Union.
That's right. Without them, we would not be able to do what we do. So thank you very much. We appreciate it, everybody. Jennifer, anything else you need to tell us?
Well, there's lots going on, but I think we should just get right into it.
I'm excited about our guest today because he's done some pretty incredible things.
He is, and I'm so excited to talk about all of the things he's done.
Right on. Let's introduce him.
Let's kick it off. Our guest today is Don Patterson, who is the managing partner, broker, owner of Remax Excellence here in Edmonton.
Don, good to
Welcome,
have you.
Don.
Good morning.
Yeah,
Great to be here.
glad you're here, Don. So just for disclosure, I got to know Don a little bit. I was involved in some political processes stuff, and Don and I sat on some boards together. Great guy, awesome guy. Don, I'm so glad you're here and took the time. He's busy, right? Because, man, real estate's on the up and up in Edmonton.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're in the best real estate market
Right
in
on.
Canada.
So if you're listening to us in Taiwan or Vietnam or somewhere and you want a good place to move, Edmonton is a great place to
Edmonton's a
move.
great place to move.
Anyways, we're going to start right from the beginning. We always do.
We always do. Don, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
I was born in Edmonton, grew up there, went to Toronto later in life, raised our family, and then came back 10 years ago. We're blessed with 3 kids and 7 grandkids.
7
that we
gra-
see
Ooh,
quite often. My daughter has twin boys who are 6. I'm a cyclist. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk
But,
about that. Yep.
The boys, actually, they got involved in a little bit of cycling, learned
Yeah.
to bike ride, and the kids they take their training wheels off and they're out riding their bikes. And this is a 6-year-old.
Yeah,
So
right
I ride
on.
my bike over. And the one little guy says, "Grandpa, I'm glad you brought your bike so you could try to keep up."
Right. I love it.
Grandkids,
So,
the best.
so you went to high school here?
Yes.
What high school did you go to?
Ross Shepard.
You did not.
Yeah.
How come I never knew this? So did I.
Oh, you did.
We are Ross Shep alumni.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the first on the podcast.
This is
the
because we
Ross
ask
Shep
everybody
alumni.
this question.
We do.
Okay.
I can't believe that you went to Ross Shep.
Yeah, and we actually, I got my old football jacket.
Come
from
on.
1970, where we won the city championships.
Okay.
I also had the cleanest uniform on the team because I sat on the bench.
No, okay. Don, this is crazy. I played the first year I played junior football, but I was like you. I basically sat on the bench. Then the coach came to me and said, "Cam, we really like you, but there's a problem. you're too short, and you're way too skinny. You're going to get killed out there. So that's it. So I went to the swim team. I went at Coronation Pool right next to Shep there. And so you and we are T-birds. We're Thunderbirds. So that's pretty awesome. Well, we've never talked about that. I never knew that. That's pretty incredible. So you graduated high school, did you go to university here or go to college?
Yes, I went to university
here. Or did you go to Toronto?
No, here. And I went to law school here.
Oh.
I was also doing real estate development at that time as well. And my previous summer job was as a roofer. I started my real estate career, but then in 1983 with the National Energy Program.
Here.
So you went to Toronto.
And I was still here.
Okay.
I'm trying to find a position as a lawyer because I've got my degree, so there's nothing there. So I actually went back in 83, 84. I'm a roofer in Edmonton to pay the bills. So I'm probably the most educated roofer in the city.
You'd want Don as your roofer because if he fell off the roof, well, he'd just sue you. He'd sue you himself. But no, I see. I didn't even know you were a lawyer. Yeah. This is like way too blowing my mind. We've actually spent a fair bit of time together, Don and I, but we've never talked about this. So this is just blowing me away.
So how many years did you do roofing? Don?
Oh, I just did for. I did for a couple of years when I was going through university.
Okay, yeah.
And then,
did you ever fall off?
A few months. Yeah.
You did?
3 times, yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, did it hurt? That's just a stupid question. It hurt.
Well, you're roofing in the wintertime. Yeah. You got to shovel the snow and whatever.
That's right.
So.
Okay, so then you graduated law school, U of A.
Yeah.
How soon till you moved to Toronto? Or how long?
We moved, actually, it's an interesting story. If you got a minute here.
Yeah, we got a few minutes.
I did practice law for 3 years, from 83 to 86.
Okay.
The market was still pretty slow in real estate here. And so my wife, we've been looking to have kids. We've been married for 8 years.
Yeah.
We didn't have kids, so we decided, okay, well, we're going to move away to France, learn to speak the language. We bought the tickets, and we're ready to go, and my wife comes home and says she's pregnant.
Oh!
So we convinced my mother that there had been kids born in France before, so we moved away there, and it was a wonderful time. We didn't travel around quite as much there.
Yeah.
But it was a wonderful experience.
Sure.
Actually, one example was we're seeing the doctor, le médecin, and my wife is 8 months pregnant, and he's saying, and in French, he's saying the best way to learn French is to have a French girlfriend. Then he looks at my wife, then he looks back to me, and he says, but not for you,
So the baby was born in France?
Baby was born in France.
Wow.
And then we landed in Toronto, where my wife has family.
Right.
I actually got a position with TD Bank.
Okay.
And I worked there for 15 years, took care of the real estate on a family side. A few years later, we adopted my youngest sister's kids who were 4 and 6, and my daughter was 6 at the time.
Right.
They're 3 months apart, so she would try to explain this in school.
Yeah.
In that regard.
That's right. That would be, that'd be.
And then I moved on to the brokerage side, managing teams, and then 10 years ago I came back to
What
Edmonton.
brought you back to Edmonton?
Yeah.
What was it that brought you back?
There was an opportunity. Plus, my daughter is a lawyer here. She followed in my footsteps.
Wow.
And family, and one thing moved to the other, and then I got a position managing and having an ownership position in this brokerage. So it's been quite a trip.
Here's the thing: you can work with somebody
and not know,
like this is blowing me away. Like we just never knew. This is incredible. I mean, I knew a little bit of the story, which we'll get into in just a minute, but this part of the story I didn't know. So you moved back to Edmonton. That's good. You glad you made the move? Obviously, no,
it's been great.
I mean, Toronto's Toronto, but Edmonton.
No, I mean, we were there for 25 years in Toronto, and friends, and I was on the Toronto Real Estate Board as
Right,
well.
right.
Lots of connections, but no, it's great. It's
Yeah.
great to be back. I love the city.
Yeah.
So many opportunities here as well. I joke with people in Edmonton, you can wear sunglasses at 10 o'clock
Oh
at
my
night
God.
in
Yeah,
the summer.
that's
Isn't that true?
In the winter, not so much.
right. No. And we all know this time of year you have to dress in layers.
Yeah.
Because it's still
Oh,
pretty cool in the morning.
Yeah.
But by the mid-afternoon, you're doing great.
That's
The
right.
sun's out. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. Well, Don, that's incredible. What a story. I didn't know that. That's fantastic. Question going through my brain, just my brain, Cam's brain. If your daughter was born in France, is she a French citizen?
No, she isn't.
She's not.
They changed the rules a little bit.
Okay.
It's different in the U.S.
Right.
So we would have had to remain in France for at least 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So
All
they've
right.
changed
So
that.
she's a
Okay,
Canadian
so
through and
she's-
through.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
she's fluent in
Right.
French.
And she's a lawyer.
Yeah, she's a lawyer
Wow.
as well.
Okay.
A little different. She's a criminal defense lawyer.
Really?
Very
Hey.
good at that. And so one of the things is, I talked to her about that. I said, you probably don't have client appreciation days. And she says, Dad, no, there's no
I wouldn't
party
imagine.
room.
No.
There's no party room at the remand center. So,
All right. Well, this is good to know in case we ever need a criminal lawyer.
Let's hope we don't.
Well, let's hope we don't. But if we ever do, I'm just saying. Now we know one.
We have a connection.
We have a connection. So that's really cool. Wow, that's fascinating. Wow, fascinating. And I know you came back to Edmonton. You like you say, you're a managing partner and part owner of Remax here, Remax Excellence in my neighborhood actually. And you and I got to know a little bit of each other. We sat on our constituency board for the UCP, and we got talking. And then one day you start telling me about this incredible thing you did that still just blows me away, where you decided to take it away.
okay, well, firstly, I've been a huge supporter of the YMCA over
Right,
the years.
yeah.
My kids grew up there, and I'm a big believer in the programs that they have,
Right.
especially for disadvantaged kids. And so, what I was looking at, is that a lot of kids at the Y are subsidized in their membership.
Right, yeah.
Nobody knows who's subsidized and who isn't.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I really wanted to get out there. Is there some way I can promote the Y, that message, the importance of getting kids active and healthy, plus raise money for the YMCAs?
So I don't want to interrupt you, but can I just tell you, I am one of those kids. So my mom was a single mom. My dad passed away when I was 2 years old, and we lived here in Edmonton on the West End, or in West Glen area. And I went to West Glen Elementary School, and because of a donor like yourself, there was a Y right next to the school there with a pool. I went through 5 years, maybe 6 years, grade 1, grade 6, of swimming lessons, all paid for by a donor who paid so that I could go and take swimming lessons.
Yeah.
Incredible. Like, I'm thankful to that. So when you say that, that just amazes. That's incredible. So you chose YMCA.
Yeah, that's right. So our kids grew up there, and we would, we'd work out at the Y. We also did kids triathlons. I participated in triathlons as well. I still do.
Yeah.
Though I'm probably the only one in my age group, so that's kind of nice. But anyways, after the kids moved out, I decided, well, is there something I can do for the Y? And so I planned a trip to ride partway across Canada. And so
Ride your bike.
Yes,
Yeah,
ride my
right.
bike.
Yeah.
This is a pedal bike, people, not a motorbike.
That's right.
Let's
Or a
clarify
battery-powered bike.
No,
Yeah.
not an e-bike either.
So you're going to go halfway across Canada.
Yeah, so I went from Victoria to Thunder Bay. Actually finished up at the Terry Fox Monument in
Really?
Thunder Bay, which is, so I did the other half of the ride. So I got back and I raised money for the YMCA. I did that over about 3.5 weeks. And I was 56 at the time. I thought it was pretty good. I was averaging about 150 kilometers a day.
Wow.
And so I got back to Mississauga, where we, where we lived at the time.
Right.
And the guys at the Y says, "Well, Don, you only went halfway." So they started giving me this nickname, Halfway Don.
Oh, my goodness.
So I thought it was pretty good because I
Yeah.
did 3,500 kilometers.
Riding to the quarter store is pretty much, you know what I'm saying? So, but I didn't, Thunder Bay. So Victoria to Thunder Bay, that's halfway across Canada?
Yes.
Really? I didn't know
No,
that.
see, I would have thought that it was
Like
much further.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought Manitoba
Yeah.
was halfway up.
I don't know.
I'm typical Westerner.
I
What do
know.
I know about it? That's incredible. Okay, so Victoria to Thunder Bay, halfway. Now you're halfway Don.
Yeah, so I figured I got to get rid of the nickname, but also, I figured there's ways that I can really set up, work with the Y, and so we developed a program, and I think of really aiming high, setting goals, and never giving up.
Right.
So my plan was, okay, I've got 4 weeks of holidays. Can I ride the whole way? And I thought, well, maybe I can. There was one kid who was 20 years old who did it in 24 days. But so I thought, well, that'd be a challenge. Can I do that? So I started winter training in Mississauga, because if you're going to be riding 10, 11 hours a day, you got to be training in the wintertime. So I'm riding out there in the countryside. It's about 10, 15 below. I've got my ski mask on,
goodness.
and I'm pedaling along. Now, the other part of it was at the end of my ride that day, I stopped into my local bank.
Yeah.
And the teller fortunately recognized me, probably because I've got a big nose, and she says, Don, you probably want to take off the ski mask.
Yeah.
So I told people that,
Halfway Don is now bank robber Don.
Well, and coming from the banking world.
That's right, coming from the banking world. Yeah,
That's right. We'll give you all your
that's
money
right.
here.
Whatever you need, take it, just go. Yeah.
So anyways, I figured that, wearing a ski mask is great for winter cycling, not so good for
not
banking.
going banking. Yeah. So, but you're going to take your 4 weeks vacation.
Yeah.
What'd your wife, you're taking up all your vacation to ride across Canada. What was she thinking about all this?
Well, she probably thought, okay, go ahead and do it.
I love it. That's
we'll see. Even my bike shop, because it was quite a challenge.
Yeah, I
They
can
thought,
imagine.
Well, can he really make it? He's got to pedal over 250 kilometers a day.
Holy
And so
smokes.
they set up a pool. They told me afterwards that the the over under was 14
Oh,
days.
my
And I said,
goodness.
now what do you mean by that? Says, well, you'll quit before or after 14 days. So,
But they told you that after.
yeah, they told me that after.
So, sorry, again, how old were you now?
58.
58.
Oh my gosh.
58. Okay. And you're going to ride across Canada.
Yeah, so what I did was I worked with YMCA Canada, and this was the first program that they had working with the local YMCAs. And so what we did, I set up donation pages for every YMCA across the country.
Okay, yeah,
so
yeah.
it was really cool. And
Yeah.
so what I would do, I'd ride all day, I'd eat everything that wasn't nailed down.
Yeah, I bet.
I would do a blog at night. And so my typical day was I would get up at 4:30 in the morning, check the bike,
Yeah.
start riding by 5 a.m., stop at the at the restaurant around about 7, pedal all day. I was eating about 7,000 calories a day.
Unbelievable. How many calories were you burning? You had to be burning.
I was burning 10,000.
10,000,
And
yeah.
so here's the issue, is that I'm burning 10,000,
Yeah.
but I'm eating 7,000,
Yes.
which is
Right.
quite a lot.
Yeah.
I make it into Sault Ste. Marie after 15 days, and I'm down 15 pounds. And people say, well, how do I get on that diet?
Well, yeah. yeah, exactly. It's the ride across Canada diet.
Right?
You can't afford to. I mean,
No.
I know nobody sees us. We're doing, our podcast is taped. And if you saw Don, he's tall and very thin. When I stand next to Don, I have to look up. That's how tall he is. But you couldn't afford to lose that.
No, so what I had to do was I had to change my diet. And so I switched to every morning, after I'd been pedaling for a couple hours, I'd stop at the local truck stop and order the Hungry Man Special. So the first day I'm in there, there's two truckers that are kind of nibbling on their food. And the first platter comes out, and it's 3 hot cakes, syrup, and butter, and I wolf those down. And then the other platter comes out, and there's 3 eggs, toast, hash browns.
Oh, my goodness.
And your 3 basic meats, ham, sausage, and bacon. So I'm shoveling the last piece of bacon in my mouth, and the one trucker turns to his buddy and he says, that skinny guy can really eat. So I'm pedaling down the road, and
So is there anybody with you?
no, I
Just
rode all
you?
by
You don't. So
myself.
you don't have
Alone?
you don't have anybody
No, I don't
following
have a
you or
support
going ahead of you.
vehicle, no.
It's just you.
Yeah, and so I just, every day I'd ride as long as I could.
Yeah.
sometimes you're into a big headwind,
Right.
like going from I think it was
I can't imagine.
No.
yeah, swift current to to Moose Jaw.
Yes.
And so that was a slow day. I did about 168 kilometers.
That was a slow day. 160.
But the next day the wind is blowing.
Yeah.
And so in my favor.
Yeah.
And so I rode right from Moose Jaw to Brandon, 442 kilometers
In one day.
in one day. So that was a pretty good
So,
pretty good
Don,
haul.
did you camp? Did you
Yeah.
stay in hotels? Like, what did you do at night?
I stayed in motels.
Okay.
And so
Okay, yeah.
sometimes I'd ride past my destination. Sometimes I'd stop
Yeah.
earlier. But yeah, I had a little backpack attached to my seat post that
Yeah.
included 2 pairs of cycling shorts. By the third day, I was wearing both pairs of cycling
Oh,
shorts.
yeah, I
can
bet.
imagine.
Yeah.
And I had a T-shirt and some bike repairs. I had 3 flats along the way
I was
that I
gonna
had
say.
to change. In that regard,
So when you stopped, did people did they say, what are you doing? Or did you, they must notice, what's this guy doing? And you're telling them you're riding across Canada.
Yep.
What was their response?
oh, it was great at times.
Yeah.
So, for instance, another truck stop I pull in, and I was chatting with a couple of the truckers, and I had a big meal, a big apple pie and ice cream, and I go up to pay, and the server says, "Oh, it's already paid for." So it was
yeah.
kind of neat.
People,
and,
yeah.
and just a great way to travel
Yeah.
across. I mean, we have such a beautiful country.
Yeah. So you started when? You started
Started in late June.
Late June.
In Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
On
Yeah.
the ocean.
Yeah.
And I finished at St. John's, Newfoundland.
So you traveled
28 days.
July, August,
No,
or just
no,
July?
just,
Because you only had 4-week
Yeah,
vacation.
that's right. So I finished in late July.
Okay, so now you made it to past Thunder Bay. You're thinking I'm halfway.
Yeah. Yeah, and so then I'm going through, going to the different Ys, and they had
Yeah.
celebrations. They had kids out
I
at,
love that.
yeah.
at
That's
Sudbury,
great.
Yeah.
at Sydney, Nova Scotia, and they'd welcome me in.
Cheering you
I
on.
took
Yeah.
kids out for a bike ride in Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty cool. too.
Yeah.
So we rode for the afternoon, and then I headed out on my own. I was doing interviews sometimes from the side of the road
Yeah.
as well. So that was pretty cool.
That is amazing. So when was this? 2012.
2012.
2012.
Okay. Did they have iPhones in 2000? Did we have
Oh, we
iPhones?
did.
Yeah?
Yeah, we
Yep.
did.
We
So
did.
were you listening to tunes all the
No.
way? You were just
No.
you and the road.
Just
Dawn
me
and the road.
traveling along.
Wow.
However, I did lose my iPhone on the first day. I'm pedaling up.
Oh, no.
I'm pedaling up the Coquihalla.
Yes.
and
Oh, my goodness.
And my front derailleur breaks, which means you shift from the big chain ring to the small
Right.
chain ring, and then make it down the other side. I'm pedaling down, and my phone must have popped out, smashed on the highway. So I call my wife, and so she was able to, on the second day when I pulled into Sicamous, order a new iPhone. I also went into the bike shop,
Yeah.
and it was like a little MacGyver. He put a twist tie, and that held my derailleur together until Thunder Bay.
This is incredible. This is just unbelievable. Wow. Okay, so by now you've lost your cell phone. Your derailleur goes crazy. The guy fixes your derailleur. Your wife sends you a new cell phone. What else? What other adventures did you have in this?
You did this with one bike.
Yeah, there's a couple repairs I did on my
Yeah.
bike as well. Late night flat tire out of
Yeah.
Thunder Bay that I'm changing in the rain. You do these things. But anyways, it was I was determined every
Yeah.
day to get up. There's a great slogan that the Y has: "Every kid deserves a chance."
Yes.
Yeah.
And that really motivated
Wow.
me. I never thought once about quitting. And so I just kept pedaling. We raised probably $30,000. But I think more important was just the public awareness
Yeah.
on the importance of getting kids
Right.
healthy and active.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I've done studies on that as well. Actually did an MBA study years ago, and it was very simple. It was active kids lead to higher academics, lead to skilled jobs,
Right.
lead to a stronger economy. And so there's so many benefits
Yeah.
if we can work with kids at a
Absolutely.
young age. and that makes a big difference.
So tell us. So now you're getting close to where was your end point?
Yeah, what was the end point?
What was your
The last community.
yeah?
you
Where
stopped
was
at.
you?
Yeah. So the last point was St. John's, Newfoundland.
Okay.
I took the ferry from
yeah.
Sydney,
Yeah.
Nova Scotia,
Yeah.
over to Port aux Basques, and then it's a long way around. It's still 900 kilometers around the Trans-Canada Highway around Newfoundland.
Oh my goodness!
And so the first day, I'm pedaling from Port aux Basques up to Gander, and traveling through the mountains. You're going up a long climb, you're going down a long climb. It's flat for 20 kilometers. Well, there, you're going up for a kilometer, you're going down for a kilometer. It's flat for a meter. You're going up again, down again.
Oh goodness!
But I met two women who were running the Gander YMCA program. And we chatted.
yeah.
We had a dinner and then off early the next morning.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you're coming to the end of your journey. And what was the last night before you reached the end point? Were you must have been just euphoric. You must have been just, I want to get there. This is great. I can't imagine. You must have felt incredible.
Well, I wasn't feeling that great.
I guess not.
That's a good
I just
point.
forgot he rode across
Right?
Canada. Like, I guess so, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but still, yes, I was pretty excited to get there, and I stayed at a little hotel, and then I was thinking about 160 kilometers on the last day.
Yeah.
And I pedaled in, and they had a really nice reception for me in St. John's as well when I pedaled in and saw the kids as well. So
Wow.
it was pretty exciting there.
Did any family fly out to meet you?
No,
they didn't.
No, just
Don's
myself.
riding across Canada.
But
He'll be home
let's just
soon.
say Don didn't ride back home.
Yeah, that's right.
Put it on
For the
plane.
record,
Put it on the
Don
plane.
flew
Don
back
flew
home.
back
Yeah.
home.
Okay. I mean, but this is unbelievable. I'm sitting here trying to think, and it wasn't that long ago for me, what I was doing at 58, and it was not riding across Canada.
What, Cam? You weren't?
I know. I'm not. I can't even. This is just blowing me away. Actually,
So I have another question though with this.
Yeah.
So Don, you rode this many days in a row, that many kilometers. Afterwards, how long did it take you to kind of recover
recoup,
from that? Because
Yeah, it probably took
that-
a good month.
Yeah.
I
would
didn't do a
imagine.
whole lot of riding or activities after that. It takes a while.
A lot of hot tubs.
Well, that's right. But and then I did go to different events talking about getting kids active.
Right.
In that regard, actually, one of the interesting ones was, do you know Pinball Clemens?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
For
for the
Toronto.
Eskimos,
Yeah.
yeah.
Argonauts.
That's right. And then
The Eskimos
So
in Toronto,
we were at a sports event for kids, and I was talking to them about how I'd done this spin ride for the YMCA in the wintertime. I rode for 8 hours. And of course, I've got lots of slow twitch muscles. He's a sprinter, all fast. And he said, and he looks to me, and he said, "Well, how did you do it for 8 hours?" And I said, "Well, I was listening to music, had some other kids with me as well." And he said, "Yeah, but what about the other 7.5 hours?"
Unbelievable. Don, I mean, this is incredible. I mean, you told me the story that you rode across Canada just in that abbreviated form. And now hearing you talk about it is just, wow. It's unbelievable. It's incredible what you've done. Have you done any rides since, or?
No, I haven't.
No.
So those 2 rides.
Yeah.
But as I said to people, it's a matter of setting a goal, really aiming high, setting out a plan, and just like with this ride, never giving up.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. What a story.
We're almost done.
I know.
We're almost at 30 minutes.
We're on to
Unbelievable.
our final question already.
Okay. Take it away, Jennifer.
Don, what is the best piece of advice you've been given, either personally or professionally, that you carry with you to this day?
I think I was saying, set out goals, never give up.
Yeah.
In that regard, have high integrity, and always follow those personal values that you have.
Wow.
Amazing.
It is. And Don, I've known you for about 3 years now, 2.5 years. And I have to say, I'm honored to know you. I mean that. And thank you for what you do for the YMCA, because, again, I am one of those kids that was a recipient of that. but just thank you for who you are and what you do, and for you, it's a genuine heart.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's just
The
a
passion,
genuine
for sure.
heart. You weren't out to make a name for yourself. You weren't out. You just wanted to help kids, and I think that's phenomenal. Again, for those who missed it, maybe Don is a co-owner of Remax Excellence here in Edmonton. And so if you're looking to buy or sell a home, give Don and Remax Excellence a call. And I know you're involved in a few other things, politically wise, and those kinds of things. And I'm honored to know you. Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for
so
taking
much
the time.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
Thanks, everybody.
What an incredible story. I get tired just riding my bike to like the corner store.
Unbelievable.
And he rode across Canada.
58 years old and just wakes up and says, I'm gonna ride across Canada. Like, that's incredible. That's unbelievable.
What an inspiration.
Yeah, and he, like he said, and he did it for the kids. That's amazing.
It is.
Wow. What a great story. Don's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Just a humble guy, and really appreciated it. And thanks, everybody, for listening. Hey, make sure you tell everybody about our podcast. Tell your friends and your neighbors and your coworkers. If you don't have any friends, make one just so you can tell them about the podcast. And you can find it wherever you get your podcasts, or you can go to www.atchisonbusiness.com.
And subscribe.
Subscribe.
And you won't miss a new episode.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
everyone.
See you next time.